peeps? It's Great Why Making It Happening today with some more Portal Knights. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a great day myself. And today, I want to show you something very special. Pretty groundbreaking as far as Portal Knights stuff is concerned. Guys, this is some crazy stuff. Check this out. I learned how to make, or I kind of figured out how to make an RNG in Portal Knights. So, if you need something like a dice roller, which is what we've used this for so far, or you want to automate something like the next node on a Simon Says game, which is something I'm still kind of working on. I haven't really figured that one out quite yet. But if you need an RNG, this is going to be a way you can do it. Now, keep in mind, this is a bit of a pseudo RNG. It's not a real, actual random number generator. It kind of fakes a random number generator, and you can do some tweaks to this to make it more random, but I'm just going to kind of show you guys the basics of it, and maybe we'll go into an advanced one later. Basically, we take one of these modules and we multiply it like 6 times, and that kind of gives you like the most random number. And there's some other things that play a role in it, but let's just kind of jump in. So the basis of this, let me turn this one off really quick, because I think when you have more than one running, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it causes some issues. It can get a little bit laggy, possibly. So let's start by getting some delays. That's going to be the basis of our RNG. So let's grab a delay, and we're just going to put them in a little circle here. So let's just go here. I'll just kind of space them out a little bit, do 2 in between all of them. I think that's enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this top left one. Well, you can start anywhere, but I like to go clockwise. We're going to turn it down to 0.1 seconds. We're going to get a connection from it. We're going to put it into the next one clockwise, turn it down to 0.1 seconds, and kind of rinse and repeat. So we're going to create a chain of delays like this. And then this last one goes back into the first one. And now if we hover over these, we can see it leads in from the one before and leads to the one next. Just like that, creates a little circle. Now, these are going to be kind of going constantly. To know when they're on and when they're off, what we're going to do is we're going to put torches on them. And this is a trick I do for timers, or anytime you want to know if a signal is being sent from a logic item, just put a torch on top of it and connect that logic item to the torch on top of it, just like this. So now, if there is a signal in any of these, we will get a light on, and you can actually see already these are flashing a bunch. So right now there's actually a bunch of different signals being sent through this. It's more than one, and they're just almost constantly on. They're just blinking off. We're going to fix this. And the way we're going to fix this is we're going to grab an OR gate. That's an OR gate. This is an OR gate. And we're going to put it right here. And we're going to have this actually lead into this one. So the one it's pointing at, it's going to lead into it clockwise from this one to this one. We're going to add a step in between. So we're going to remove that delay and add this OR gate. Now, delays will keep pulsing to whatever you have them on. So for example, if we grab another delay here and we toss it down, put a torch on top of it, grab this connection, put it into the torch. This delay is at a 1 second delay. That means it's going to turn its signal on and turn its signal off every 1 second. I can change this to 0.5 seconds. 0.2 seconds. 0.1 seconds. Oh God, it's so fast. So it's going to keep pulsing. Now, if you have, the only exception to that is if you have something feeding into the delay, then it will not turn on. I just tried to say wilt. It won't turn on unless you send a signal into it from whatever's attached to it. So because this OR gate doesn't have anything and it's leading into this, and this is leading into this, into this, into this, into this, into this, it's not going to send a signal, so it's not going to pulse. It won't do that until we send a signal. So that's how we can kind of stop that constant flow of pulses. Once they have stopped, at that point, you can take this delay and attach it to the OR gate. It's still not going to do anything because there's no more active signals. They've all kind of died out. Now we need a way to start this RNG, and the way we're going to do that is with a button. So let's grab ourselves a button. Let's just grab a white button. That's fine. Let's get a little bit of dirt. I don't want to use snow blocks. Let's use this dirt block here. Let's put this back here, I guess. We'll toss the button down. And if you guys don't know this trick already, when you're making buttons, if you want the button to be reusable, all you do is you take a delay again. So we'll grab a delay, put it somewhere near the button, and we'll have that button signal lead into the delay, and you can make it as short as you want the button press to be, and then you're going to take that delay signal and send it back into the button. So now if we press this button, we get a 0.5 second press. I can make it a longer press if I wanted to. We could go 1 second. Sure. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually make it 0.1 seconds because we want the shortest signal we can. The shortest signal we can get going into these. So we're going to make it 0.1 seconds. And then we're going to take the signal from this button press and put it into this OR gate. So if this OR gate gets a signal from the button press, or it gets a signal from this delay behind it, both of those lead into it, it's going to send the signal forward. So if I press this button now, there's our circle. And there is a little bit of a delay when you press the, when the delay turns on the torch above it. There's a little bit of delay with the animation. So it looks like more than one is on at a time. And it kind of is, but it's not. I'll show you. The next steps will kind of make this a little bit clearer. So the next thing we want to do is we want a way to pick out when one is on and get our random number, basically. So let's make a little piece of land here, and let's grab some more buttons. We want a green button and a red button. One to get our signal and one to reset it, so we can grab another one. And then what we want to do is we want to grab some AND gates. So let's grab a series of AND gates right now. And we're going to place these down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that, kind of mirroring what we have over here. And what we want, we'll need to, before we move on too much further, let's grab a delay. And let's get these buttons so they're working correctly too. I'll put them next to each other. So let's take this down to 0.1 seconds. Send it into this button, get this button's connection, send it back into the delay. Same thing here, 0.1 seconds into the red button into the delay. So that way, these buttons now, if we press them, they stay down for 0.1 seconds. That's perfect. Now, basically what we want to say is when we press this button, well, so that's the first condition of our AND statement. If this button is pressed down, and we have a signal from this, or we have a signal from this, or a signal from this delay. I'm grabbing these from the delays, not from the torches, just from the delays. The torches don't send signals, they're just visual. They're just to help see when something's on. We're getting connections from the delays and putting them into the AND gates. Now, we want to know if these are actually on or not. You can kind of see the AND gates do light up somewhat, but it is still pretty hard to tell. So we're going to do the same trick here. We're going to take these, and we're going to put the signal into a torch on top of it. And again, because the torch doesn't have a signal yet, none of these are on yet, it won't actually be lit. It'll only be lit when there is a signal, so that's how we know when it's on. So now, I want to warn you guys ahead of time, this isn't going to work. There's still one more step, but this is the next step, so I want to show you. If we push this button, we get 2 of those torches to light. 2 of those light, 2 of those light. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And I'm continuing to do this because I wanted to show you guys. Sometimes you do get 3. It's not going to do it today. Sometimes you get 3 to light in a row when you do this. Seems to be working more effectively today for some reason. But we at least get 2 to light at the same time. That's because this signal is going so quickly. And we don't work on ticks like we do in Minecraft. So it's very possible we could have pressed this right before it was transitioning from one signal to the next. And that one button press could have caught more than one. So in order to fix this, it's actually pretty easy. What we're going to do is we're going to pillar up a little bit here, just a little bit. And we're going to build out a little bit of a platform right above this. Oops. Oh, goodness. Block placement portal lights can be a pain in the booty sometimes. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab some more AND gates. Basically, we're going to try and refine this signal that we're getting. Actually, we don't need this one. So now what we want to say is if we get this and we get this, then we want to send a signal up from this one. So let's do this again. And let's hook these AND gates up to the torches above them. And again, just to repeat myself one more time, what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to refine the signal that we're getting. We're getting a signal that highlights 2, sometimes 3. We didn't see it today, but sometimes it highlights 3 at a time. Sometimes it highlights 2. So I want to say let's give these numbers. Let's say this top left one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to say if we get 1 and we get 2 to light, if both of those are lit, then let's highlight number 1. Let's say if we get 2 to light in this AND gate, and we get 3 to light, let's highlight number 2. In the next one, we'll say if 3 is lit and 4 is lit, then number 3 is going to be lit. This one will be if number 4 is lit, fam, and if number 5 is lit, fam. We want number 5 to light. Finally, you guys kind of see where this is going, I'm sure. If 5 is lit and 6 is lit, then we want this one to light. And then finally, if 6 is lit, and if 1 is lit, then we highlight number 6. Because they go in a circle, so there shouldn't be really a time where 6 is lit and 4 is lit. That shouldn't happen, because they're going in a circle this way. So if we press the button, the first one's going to light, and then a couple of them after might light. So now if we press this, we should only get 1 button press. Let's see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This... I'm glad this happened. I want to show you guys this. So, this is an issue sometimes with these RNGs. It can be a bit finicky, like I said. And I have a way to solve this problem as well. But we want to turn it off. And the way you turn this off, you can automate this also to be by a button press to turn off this circle. And that'll be more of our advanced guide. But if you want to turn this off, you just have to remove the delay connection here. Let's go ahead and hook it back up. If we reset this... it should work now. There we go. Now we're only getting 1 output. And we shouldn't ever get more than 1 output when we do this. So, you could, if you wanted to, now hook these up to timers. So let's grab a timer. And, oh, that's right, timers are weird, and you can't place them against walls, so you have to place them on top of things. Let's go like this. Let's grab a timer. Let's have these feed into the timer. Oh, what the crap? That's not right. There we go. So we'll just have them go into the one immediately underneath them. And then we'll do the same kind of thing with the torches. I'm going to put them in front so there's a little bit more distance between this torch and the one behind it. And we'll have these timers hooked up to the torches in front of them, obviously. And then there's a second input on the timer. We're putting them into input number 1. I should have made that clear. When we send this signal from this AND gate into the timer, we're using input number 1 because input 1 starts the countdown without sound. And then input number 2 resets it. So we're going to use this button, this red button, as our reset button. So we'll bring that up here with the connection and apply it to input number 2 for all the timers. There we go. So now we should be able to get 1 signal, and it stays on now. So if you wanted to say you're doing a dice roller, for example, you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd be able to keep that signal on, know what they rolled, and as soon as the number of spaces they moved or something like that, or the number of whatever you want to happen is equal to 6, you could say if this is true and 6 of whatever happened is true, then reset, and you can roll again. We can turn it off, and we can keep rolling all day. Oh, that one didn't... Oh, what's your problem? What are you doing? That one wasn't hooked up properly. Strange. Yeah, it's good to double check your connections, guys. Hooking a lot of things up, it gets very repetitive, and you can mess up. But there we go. Now it's working. Ooh, now there's an example of that's when 3 lit, and we got 2 of them to light. So there's an issue, right? So there is a way to fix this as well. Because when this happens, they light in sequence. So this one lights, and then immediately afterwards, this one lights. So what we're going to do to fix that is we're going to take a series of OR gates, and we're going to put them right underneath these timers. If you break the blocks under timers, they will still float, so no worries there. So let's grab an OR gate. And let's hook it up underneath these. That was those 3 in a row that I was trying to tell you guys about. So we're going to, instead of the red button, we're going to use this OR gate to hook up the red button underneath. And we're going to have something else happen. So we're going to take the OR gate underneath and hook it up to input number 2 on the timer above it. So I'm removing that red button and putting the OR gate in. Okay, so now the way we're going to fix this is that because they light in sequence, we're never going to get more than 2, because the reason 2 lit like that is because we had 3 of these ones down here fire off in a row. And so that meant that, for example, 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 were on, so they both sent signals up. So to fix that, we're just going to say when 1 lights, we want it to turn off input number 2. When number 2 lights, when the timer goes off, we want it to turn off timer number 3. When timer number 3 lights, it turns off number 4. When number 4 lights, it turns off number 5. Number 5. When number 5 lights, it turns off number 6. And finally, when number 6 lights, it turns off number 1. So now what's going to happen is if 2 of these light, this one's going to light first. And if this is active, it's gonna reset this timer. So if this timer is still counting down, which it will be because it lit after this timer will reset this timer, and this one will never actually light. So now, even if we get 3 in a row, we're only ever gonna get 1 output. Let me see if there's 2. Oh, we forgot to hook up our reset button. So we'll come through here, and on those OR gates, either the timer in front of it or this red button will reset those timers so we can see this example working. So let's hit that red button, should turn those off. Let's hit it again. There we go. We got 1 output. Can we get 2 again? There we go. There's 2, but only that one lit because as soon as this lit, it turned that one off. So it won't ever light. Let's do it again. Make sure it's actually working. Come on, give me a double output. There's 2. But only the 1 lit. That turned that one off. That's it, guys. That's an RNG. Now, there are ways to make this more random. Again, this is pseudo RNG. This is not a true RNG. It's not a real random number generator because it is in sequence and because it repeats itself. And we're just using a human error or a human difference to give us our random number. If you automated this, if you said you wanted it to fire off every 2 seconds and you made it do it automatically, it would not be random. But there are ways to work around that too. There are ways to work around that as well. So it's okay. Actually, a cool thing is that sometimes this breaks. You guys saw it already. You saw it broke once and we had to come over here. We had to disconnect this delay. Then we had to hook it back up. And we had to reset it. Sometimes they stop working, but here's the thing. When they stop working, it's totally random. There is no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes they just stop working, and you have to reset them. You can automate the resetting of it, and you can create different modules. So you could make this 6 different times. And we actually did this in the board game that Nikki Ma and I are working on. We made this same thing 6 different times, and we made a device that has it cycle through the 6 different ones until it gets an output. And then once it gets an output, it resets everything, and then it starts over again. So it'll roll this once. If it doesn't get an output, it'll move on to the next module. It'll roll. If it doesn't get an output, it'll move on to the next one. It'll roll. If it doesn't get an output, it moves on to the next one. And they don't work pretty frequently in that one because we have a lot of different logic blocks going on. So by doing that, by cycling through them, it becomes even more random because there's no way to tell when it is or isn't going to work. So the number you get truly is very random. It is incredibly random. There's no way you could plan or cheat to get a certain, a specific number. And with this one, if you start this rotation at the beginning of the game and you have people do it, it's rotating so fast that any normal human could not guess this. If they can't see this, and even if it's in front of them, if you just break these torches, and they can't see the lights cycling, if they can't see the rotation happening, there's no way they'd be able to tell. There's no way they'd know that would be a 3 or that would be a 3. There's no possible way that they're able to guess that and plan it. those are totally random. There's no way people are guessing those numbers. But yep, that's a pseudo RNG in Portal Knights. So that should allow you to do a lot of crazy things with your builds. Like I said, a Simon Says game, you could have it like randomly build itself as you go, because the Simon Says game requires human input. You have to play back the song it plays. So if you have to play back the song it plays, the timing for the next note is going to be different every time. So you're going to get a random note every time. You can use this as a dice roller. Nikki Ma and I are making that board game. You can use this for a lot of different things. You could create a random lock, kind of a Simon Says, but not necessarily with music playback. I could just play you the sequence, and then you have to play it back to unlock a door. You could do, I don't know, there's all kinds of things you do, guys, but that's all for today. I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you like the video. Get in the comment section if you have, guys, wow, goodness, words are so hard. Get in the comment section if you guys have any questions about this. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, guys. I want to make a career out of this someday, making content, so I really would love to do that. So you subscribing helps me quite a lot. And yeah, that's it. So I appreciate you guys. You've been a pleasure as always, and I hope you do have the best kind of day. See you later, dudes.